Grade 2, Unit 4, Daily Routines. We're going to start with Unit 4, Lesson 1, where we're counting by 100s to 1000s, as well as counting within 1000 by tens. So let's get started with that. Boys and girls, each group of pennies shows the number of pennies in $1. How many pennies are in each dollar? Think about it. Class, 100. You're right. How do you know? And then students are going to respond with, I know because there's 10 groups of 10 pennies. I counted by tens. We know there's 100 pennies in $1, 100 cents. Those would be all ways that we would know. We're going to count now these pennies by hundreds to find out how many pennies there are in all. Count with me as I point. Ready? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1000. We just counted by hundreds. Let's count again. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, which is 1,000. There are 10 groups of 100 to get to 1,000. Let's count the groups of 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 hundreds equals 1,000. We also could say we have 1,000 pennies here. Let's try again. Now we're going to count by tens within 1,000. So just like counting by tens from 100 to 200, we're going to assume we've already counted all of these pennies. So we counted 100, now we're at 200. Boys and girls, count with me as we count from 200 to 300 by tens. Everyone begin. 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290. Class, 300. Boys and girls, we counted from 200 to 300 by tens. Would you count again with me? 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290, 300. Now let's count from 300, we counted all the way to this penny, and let's count to 400 by tens. Here we go. We're at 300, 310, 320, 330, 340, 350, 360, 370, 380, 390, 400. Let's count one more time, and this time let's look at the numbers. 310, 320, 330, 340, 350, 360, 370, 380, 390, 400. It's important as we count with students on any of these charts that we're always going down the column to indicate that it's this group of 10 we're counting. We don't merely just point to the last penny in each row because each penny only stands for one. We're talking about the entire group of 10. This is emphasizing that idea to students. So now let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're going to count like that all the way to 25. So we're going to count one finger for every penny. So when we're finished, we flash 25 single fingers. Then we're going to do our nickels. Boys and girls, count with me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So we counted nickels 5 times to get to 25 cents. So after we count by ones, boys and girls, how many cents? 25 cents. Let's count nickels. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Boys and girls, how many cents? 25 cents. Boys and girls, let's count this. 10, 20, 25. Boys and girls, how many cents? 25 cents. So they can see here even the numbers that you can see in red so that they can count and see the numbers as well. So you could go do it twice and see the numbers, but some students need that connection between what we're doing with our fingers, what we're saying with our mouth, and the numbers that correspond. So you'll see that you have all of those here on that slide. So what we just practiced in lesson 2 and 3 is going to now continue throughout lesson 15. You're going to notice though that we continue to count up to 1,000, so we count a new group of tens each time. So now we're counting from 500 to 600 and from 600 to 700. So you're going to continue to do that. You continue to have a conversation about what patterns you notice on each slide. If each one of these squares equals 25 cents, what are some of the patterns that we're noticing? And then we're going to use these squares to actually count the money. We're going to use our finger flashing. We're going to count by that amount of money. You can do more coin identification if you need to. And then, of course, you can move these green slides to have students identify the numbers while they count if needed. So you can always do each square 2 times. So that's going to continue, but as you notice, each of the slides gets different or more complicated or different types of patterns or arrangements on each of the slides. So students have multiple opportunities to build 25 cents and to continue to identify coins and to count by coins. So remember, as we go into Unit 4, we're doing a lot with money in those first sets of lessons, and then we start to decompose that dollar as we look at ungrouping money or ungrouping numbers. So a lot of people feel like there's not a lot of support for money in the unit. This is where it's at. The amount of rehearsal that students are going to get if you do these daily routines every day is going to greatly help them with their money automaticity. Have fun! Now, as we get to lesson 16, we're going to transition to reviewing our length. So as you can see here, we have a list of all of the different types of measurement that we want students to build automaticity with. So once you get to slide 83, you're going to see that list posted for you right here. The student leader then follows the script on the right-hand side. So we're going to point to one of the metric measurements. Let's say they point to a meter. Boys and girls, show me 1 meter. And with their hands, we want them to show us what about 1 meter is. Boys and girls, show me 1 centimeter. And we want the students to show us 1 centimeter. Boys and girls, show me 10 centimeters. And we want them to show us about 10 centimeters. So if you're using a ruler and you have it in front of you, or they have their rulers, again, this is estimation, so they can compare it to what you're showing them. They can use their fingers to help us as well. But it's just building automaticity with how much is a centimeter, a decimeter, etc., which is 10 centimeters. Customary units of length, then we talk about an inch. So about how big is an inch? How do we know? What can we compare it to in the classroom? 6 inches, 12 inches, 1 foot, 2 feet, so on, then the 3 feet that make 1 yard. So you're going to just review this with students each day. The student leader gets to choose. They don't have to go in order, but it's just building fluency with about how much that is. We want students remaking it with their hands every day. Then as you get to the part where we talk about personal references, show me something in the room that is about 6 inches. Right? So they're looking around the room, looking around their house, where however you're doing your quick practices in person or daily routines in person or remotely, and we want them to see if they can find objects that are about that. Conversely, you can give them the object. About what would I use, what customary unit would I use to measure my pen? And so they should be looking at this list and deciding which of those would be best to measure my pen. Is it about an inch, 6 inches, 12 inches, a foot, so on and so forth. So now you can use items that you have and have them decide what those customary units are, and then they can go conversely and find an object that you give. So you say find something that is about 12 inches long. Okay, so it's just to build some more automaticity with those ideas. Then you're going to get to lesson 17 to 23. So you're going to do that for lesson 16, and you can see that it all continues to be the same. Lesson 16 is really setting the stage for what's going to happen in the subsequent lessons. So all of this stays the same. All the questions stay the same. We'll continue to find those different measurements around the room, different objects. So just create automaticity with the measurement links. Thank you.